I love this woman. She's an amazing, amazing person. Please help me welcome to the stage. Get on your feet for C.G. Siddons!
Thank you. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and you don't have to raise your hand. I just want you to really sit back and think about them. Have you ever sat in the audience, or are you sitting in the audience right now thinking that the people that stand on stage or the people that speak at events, they must be really special? They must have that rock star DNA that you just didn't get? Or have you ever sat out there and thought you weren't confident enough, or charismatic enough, or influential enough to really be successful in this business? Last one. How many of you, as much as you believe in Isagenix and you believe in everything this company stands for, you believe even more strongly that success is something that's meant for other people? I'll be totally honest with you. 2 years ago, I was sitting at this exact same event, all the way in the back of the room, not even in a chair, on the sound speaker next to the woman I'm about to bring out. I was literally thinking these exact same thoughts, paralyzed by my fears, my doubts, my insecurities, and so overwhelmed with the junk in my head about why this couldn't work for me. As unimpactful as this story may seem, it truly was a breakthrough in my business, and it almost didn't come to be. 2 months prior to New Year's kickoff in 2013, so in November of 2012, I was finishing grad school with a degree that qualified me for absolutely nothing other than student loans. I was waitressing and bartending at a restaurant and bar in Seaside Heights, New Jersey, which had just gotten slammed by Hurricane Sandy, leaving total uncertainty if that building was even still standing. And more devastating than any of that was the fact that my financial everything was dependent on a job as a waitress and a bartender that I had grown to be miserable at. And my Isagenix income for the entire month of November 2012 was $557. For the entire month after building seriously for 12 months. And I still remember I was in a moment of pure desperation. I know exactly where I was sitting in my condo. And I sent Alexis Romano a text message to ask her about New Year's kickoff. And I basically said, I want to go, but I don't know if I should because I'm not really making any money yet. And Alexis responded in true Romano fashion. If you know the Romanos, you know how true this is. The most genuine way possible, all capital letters, yelling as only a Romano can yell. That's exactly why you go. Because I had so much respect for Alexis, I would truly do anything she told me to do. I made the commitment to be there. I didn't know how, I just knew I would be. Financially, at this point in my life, I was struggling. I was that person who, if I went to the ATM, I would close my eyes and avoid looking at the bank balance because that dwindling number was terrifying to me. What happened next wasn't my proudest moment, but I sent my dad a text, and I let him know I knew what I wanted for Christmas that year. I wanted a plane ticket to New Year's kickoff. I come from a family of educators, and I was the middle child, waitress, bartender, who nobody really knew what I was doing. But in true father fashion, my father obliged, no questions asked, and paid for that plane ticket. Do you really get that? That was 2 years ago. $557 for the entire month of November, and I couldn't afford my own plane ticket. Can I tell you what my Christmas gift to my dad was this year? My brother, my sister, and I flew my dad to Palm Springs with his best friend Frankie, first class, so they could be here today. You guys can stand. I'm C.G. Siddons, and the woman I'm about to bring to the stage is such a massive part of why I'm able to stand on the stage and share my story today. 2 years ago, she was sitting all the way in the back of the room on that sound speaker next to me, and she was a 2-star at the time, which is amazing in its own right. But she was completely unnoticed by everyone that walked past her. Our little team knew she was meant to greatness, but to the other thousands of people in that room, she was completely unrecognizable. Little did everyone know, in mere months, she would set not this team, not just the company, but the entire profession on fire and blaze a trail that we are all so fortunate to follow in. I remember telling Alexis years ago that one day I would have the opportunity to stand on stage and publicly thank her for her never-ending support, her constant guidance, and her relentless belief. Sure, you can only imagine how honored and grateful I am to bring to the stage the amazingly inspiring Alexis Romano.
How amazing is C.G. Siddons? Another young entrepreneur, start ambassador in Isagenix, who is rising to the top. We love her. So thank you, C.G., for that amazing introduction. And I remember like it was yesterday, sitting all the way in the back on the speaker, and I was in such awe of all of the people on stage receiving their big checks. And I remember glancing over at CG and seeing her so in her head. And the reason why I could remember is because we've all been there before. So we know that feeling. How many people know that feeling? So again, my name is Alexis Romano from Hoboken, New Jersey. And I am a retired high school counselor of 21 years. And I'm someone who always worked 2 and 3 jobs my entire life. I don't have a powerful product story. I lost a few pounds. I gained my energy back. So we know that this is so much more than having a before and after picture. Wouldn't you agree? So 2 years ago, I sat here as a 2-star. It took me 2 years to cycle 10 times. So 2 years to cycle 10 times. How many people are willing to go through that process? So 2 years ago, as I sat here, I had just taken a leave of absence from my job. I was tired of being comfortably miserable, as I once heard Kathy Coover say. And after being away for a few months, I knew there was no way I was going to go back. So I committed to retiring. And many see the success that I have now, perhaps their own version of how it all happened. But we always say, you see the glory, but you don't know the story. Part of my story was that I gave up my full pension of 21 years. I left all of my health benefits, and I left the security of my job, or what I thought was security, but there's really no security in being unhappy. I've been building my business now for 6 years, and of course, I've had challenges and obstacles, as many of us do. And we all have stories. Some have more stories than others, some are more tragic than others, but we all have stories. I realized that I didn't have the skills in the beginning of network marketing. But what I had was the drive and the belief, and I was willing to go through the process. I worked day and night, and I shared Isagenix over and over and over again. And I remember saying to myself, or even saying to some of the people who mentored me, is this really going to work? And I thought, this is going to work. And I wasn't sure how I was going to reach 6 figures again, but I knew that I would reach 6 figures again. I stepped out of my comfort zone every single day. This entire business is me stepping out of my comfort zone. And so when my sister, where's my sister? When my sister told me if I really wanted to build my business, I needed to get on Facebook. And I said, absolutely not. You know I'm a private person, and I don't want my personal business out there. And then I thought, if I really want to be successful, I have to be willing to step out in order to step up. So I remember those early stages of me using Facebook. How many people are terrified of social media? Well, I was one of those people terrified. And I remember my sister laughing and yelling, and she would call me or she would text me and she would say, stop, you're posting on my wall. What I thought was a private message. And I was like, wall, what does that mean? I didn't even know what wall meant. So it was really, really uncomfortable for me. But again, I was willing to go through the process. My business coach helped me get out of my own way, and I started to see how simple this really was. When we stop making it about ourselves and we start making it about other people, as you heard people say over and over again, everything falls into place. How many people here think that they need a before and after picture in order to build their business? How many people here are waiting to reach their goals before they start sharing Isagenix? I never had a before and after picture, and I was still able to build my business, like so many of us here. How? You simply share other people's stories. That's the beauty of this. So today, we're here to teach you a few simple strategies that can assist you with building your business on Facebook. This is not about a cookie-cutter program. This isn't about someone doing this behind the scenes or paid traffic. This is simply about you developing yourself into someone that people want to follow.
So, in order for people to follow you, you have to have a list, right? So by a show of hands, how many people have an active working prospecting list? Awesome. And by a show of hands, how many of you are terrified at the thought of reaching out to your list? Okay, cool. That's exactly how I felt when I started. Terrified and paralyzed by the thought of setting up three-way calls and reaching out to my list. I actually found an email between Alexis and I from 3 years ago with my first list, and I have to laugh to keep from cringing at my language style. I basically said, I'm sending this to you now so you know that as uncomfortable and scared to death as I am, I'm really ready to give this a try. And I have to laugh at Alexis's response when she said, you serve drinks to drunks every day? That's what's scary. As you can see by my word choice and my verbiage, this was really terrifying for me. And as you can see by Alexis's response, she really didn't care.
And it's not that I didn't care. It's just not that serious. We're putting together a list because this isn't a hobby, this is a business. And I always say, I want to give people 24 to 48 hours to put their list together because then I know somebody is serious and committed about this business. I'm not chasing people for their list, and I always say, we don't want to prejudge anybody because we never know what somebody wants and needs based on what we think they want and need. There's perception versus reality. If somebody passed me up because they thought this was about weight loss, where would thousands of people be today? So having your list is so important, and there's so many different ways to generate a list. And if you look in your 90-day game plan, you'll see the memory jogger sheet that we use every single day. It's a great tool to really jog your memory on all of those people that you could be putting on that list sharing Isagenix. You want to think about all of the people that you have on your Facebook list, all the people in your cell phone, all the people in your email, people that you do services with. That's how you're going to generate your list. And the list is always ongoing. You always want to have a list no matter how long you've been in the business, whether it's your first week or it's 6 years.
So we share on social media because it gives us the opportunity to really reach, connect, and network with people all over the world. There's no geographic limitation. It provides us the opportunity to reconnect and rebuild with people we went to high school with, people we went to college with, old jobs, old sports. The list goes on, and it's much simpler because we have social media now. What we're doing on social media is really creating a culture with our words, with our posts, with our pictures that people want to be a part of. It doesn't matter if you're 18 or 80, the way to do it is exactly the same. It's equally as powerful for everyone. Now, by a show of hands, how many people signed onto Facebook this morning with the intention of buying something? Very few hands are up, right? So with this, we know that people sign on to social media, Facebook, for 2 reasons. Because they want to see what their friends and family are doing, and they want to see who's liking and commenting on their posts. Facebook is meant to be very covert advertising. It is not supposed to be overt, in your face, 24/7, buy my products, try my service, join my team. That's overwhelming. And I'll be honest, that's exactly what I did in the beginning, because I just didn't know. I thought I had to be someone I wasn't, and I told everyone, don't eat that, don't do this, you're digging your grave with a knife and fork, and guess what? My own family avoided me. The only person that was liking and commenting on anything I was doing was Alexis Romano, and she would write every time, great post, because she was obligated to. But what I learned is that Facebook isn't instant gratification. But if you're willing to learn the skills and you're willing to be consistent, there really can be long-term gratification. Is that something you can get excited about?
So a few strategies or a few tips. There's do's and don'ts when building your business on Facebook. The first don't is not to verbally vomit Isagenix. We don't even use the word Isagenix, we use the word nutritional cleansing, because building your business on Facebook is about creating curiosity. So not verbally vomiting. Nobody wants to hear you whining and complaining. Just think about being a leader, and if you see somebody whining and complaining, are you going to want to join them in a business venture? Or are you going to follow those people who are positive and excited and passionate about what they're doing? There are peak times that you want to post for Facebook. No one's going to get up out of bed at 2 o'clock in the morning and comment on your post. So you want to make sure those peak times are 7 in the morning to 9 in the morning, 8 o'clock at night till 10 o'clock at night. Lunchtime is always good because we know people are really unhappy at their jobs, so they're always on Facebook, sneaking somehow. So lunchtime is another good time to post. But you want to stay within those range of those peak times so you get the most traffic on your page. Another thing that you don't want to do is political rants. We know there's so much negativity going on in the news. Sometimes I can just open up Facebook and know what's going on rather than turn on the TV. But no one wants to join somebody who's ranting and raving about a horrible tragedy that happened in our world. No one wants to join somebody who could possibly be in one party versus another party, because now you're alienating people from your business. We all have opinions, but if you're building a business, you want to keep it off of Facebook. We also have a strategy that we use that we learned from Kurt Molly, a social media coach, and it's called the 10-4-1 strategy. And what it does for you is it really helps you keep organized and structured with building your business on Facebook. So you can avoid all of the do's and the don'ts. Well, you don't want to avoid the do's. Avoid all of the don'ts. So if you have a strategy and a system that's set up, then there's no wondering how your Facebook should look for building your business.
So the 10-4-1 strategy is very simply, it's the framework we use to teach people so they have something to work with and they know what to post and when. So let's say over the course of a week, you're going to post about 15 times. That comes out to about twice a day. 10 of those 15 posts have nothing related to Isagenix in them. It's you being yourself, being inspirational, being funny, letting people really see who you are. 4 of those posts are somewhat related to Isagenix. Maybe it's a before and after picture, maybe it's a cool text message, maybe it's a great recipe. And 1 of those 15 posts is your power post. That's your business celebration post. It is not inbox me now, ask me how. If you're creating curiosity correctly, people get it. They'll inbox you on their own. They don't require the inbox me now, ask me how. So we're going to go into a couple different posts just to give you an idea of how we break down the 10-4-1.
So the first few that we're going to show you are the 10, not related to Isagenix at all. And remember, people, when they open up Facebook, they're not there to look at people's posts and be really serious or feel really bad about themselves. So you never want to put somebody's profession down because those people are not going to follow you. They'll probably wind up blocking and deleting you. So you want to be inspiring and motivating and have people see the community and the culture that you're creating so that if they are unhappy in their jobs and they see that we're having all of this fun, then they'll start to follow you. So the first are inspirational posts. And as you can see, and we'll talk about branding in a little bit, but CG and I are very different with our posts. But these are just inspirational posts. You don't want to put up a post of just a quote because Facebook is not going to recognize that as much as your own text, perhaps with a picture. This is my favorite guy. Even though it's inspirational, it doesn't have to be serious. You want to make people laugh and be inspired at the same time.
So, funny posts. I think you can probably figure out what that means, right? But they're meant to make you laugh. They're not meant to be taken so seriously. I always say, who were you before Isagenix? You still want to be that person. What made you laugh before you started building this business? And I look at these posts. What I posted honestly made me laugh because no one ever taught me about my taxes, but I learned Pythagorean theorem 400 times. And if you know Alexis, you know this one is so perfect for her and her amazing family. It's not about being so serious. It's about what makes you laugh because 99% of the time, that will entertain someone else. So sometimes challenging things happen. And what I love about the way we work is that, as you can see, I didn't know the difference between dish detergent and dish soap. So there was a little bit of an issue. But instead of getting upset, my very first reaction was, this is going to be a great Facebook post, because it gives people something to laugh about and interact with. And if you look at Alexis's, when she threw her keys down the trash chute, I'm sure she had a moment of, that wasn't my best idea. But she knew it would be a great post because people can relate to that and they can laugh with her about that. And then how many people work out? I would think most of the room, right? Most of us work out, but that doesn't mean we want to make people who aren't feeling bad. So Alexis's post just about going to the gym and making it fun as opposed to you have to do X, Y, and Z. It just translates so well. I love this one. Other social posts. So sometimes things happen that obviously aren't planned. And my post on the left with Eric Hoover, wherever he is, give him a hand, and Joe DiBianca from Isoderby. And when we took that picture, it was just hilarious. So there was really no rhyme or reason to it. It was just funny, so we posted it. And then you can see Alexis's picture of her mother, Mama Romano, who is so beautiful, and she hates having her picture taken. And none of her kids care because she's great for their brand. So she's actually watching right now, so if everyone wants to turn around and just give her a nice wave. Awesome. So it's just about really showing people who you are and what you're doing and having fun with it. This is a fun game I play when I go shopping. So I have a really unconventional name, CIJI. So when you go into a store and they ask you what your name is so they can write it on the door, I pretend like I'm really busy after I tell them what my name is because I like to see what they're going to come up with. And when we were in Austin shopping, this is what they wrote, and I took a picture, and immediately, again, my first thought was, I have to post this. And then I showed it to Tara and Alexis, and before they even knew it was on Facebook, they said, you have to post this. So it's just those fun things that are happening every day.
Okay. So this is me really stepping out of my comfort zone and putting this picture up here. The beauty of this picture is that those two women in this picture, this was over 20 years ago, as you can see, Jersey hair, are sitting in this audience right now building a business with me. You will never see this picture again. So the 4 related pictures to Isagenix. So we have so many amazing before and after pictures of people in the entire company. Wouldn't you agree? So what we do is, remember, Facebook is not about just you. It's about you supporting your team and showing the culture and the community that you're creating and celebrating other people. No one wants to just follow your journey, but they want to see how many people that you're helping. So we have Lisa and Donna, who are both in the audience, and you can see their amazing before and after pictures. And you can also see that we're not saying, inbox me now, ask me how. We're simply celebrating people, and we know what the reaction's going to be. People are going to automatically want to know what's going on. 2 more people, Heather and Mike, both in the audience. Amazing transformations, and you can see everybody's so different.
So the lifestyle posts are very simply the lifestyle that being a part of Isagenix affords you. And it doesn't have to be about making $1 million. My post was really exciting because when I was bartending, there was no such thing as a weekend. I worked Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I never saw my brother and my sister. I never got to go to those family barbecues. And this past summer, we actually spent a whole weekend together at an Isagenix event and then at my niece's birthday party. And it's showing people that time, because time is something you can never get back. And if you look at the post next to that, that's from Francis, who was brand new in Isagenix. So he wasn't really making any money yet. But he's still able to show the lifestyle and where his life is going with this vehicle. And then these are, again, more lifestyle. I used to work Memorial Day weekend, probably like 40 to 50 hours in a weekend. It was a rough weekend on the Jersey Shore, and if you've ever been there, you know what I mean. This is how I worked Memorial Day weekend this year. It's just showing people that and not making the people that are working feel bad about themselves. And Alexis just rented a condo in Miami because winter in New Jersey is not fun. There's just not a nice way to say that. So now she's able, because of Isagenix, to live that lifestyle where she can pick up and go whenever she wants. And that's, again, what the lifestyle post is. And we have one more. This one warms my heart. It shows my best friend, Tara Romano, the reason I'm standing here. You know, that picture was 4 years ago of us bartending together. And the second picture was a picture of us at an event when we found out we won a trip to St. Thomas. That's showing the lifestyle to people of what can happen in such a short amount of time. And then Alexis and Tara in Paris together. Ask them if 10 years ago or 5 years ago, whatever it was, they thought they would be living this extraordinary life. But they are, because they have this vehicle.
And then again, we say Isagenix, Facebook is not about you, it's about other people. So showing the culture that you're creating and sharing the success of your business partners is so important on Facebook. So this is one of our team trainings, and it's just amazing for people to see how many lives we're affecting on a daily basis. And then we have our power posts. So 10 unrelated, 4 somewhat related, and 1 power post. Business celebration. We're sharing this and supporting the people on our team, their rank advancements. Whatever it is about their business, we're celebrating them. So you can see over here, these are some of the teachers that just retired this past year on our team. Again, it's not just about me retiring, it's about so many other people retiring. So we want to share their success. And then we have CG sharing the success of Kim. We have so many other people on the team that we're sharing their success, and we're not making people feel bad about going to work every Monday morning, because there's nothing worse than opening up Facebook and seeing other network marketers making people feel bad about having to go to work on Monday. We know we have a better way, but they don't know it yet. So we don't want to make them feel bad. We just want to show things and share other people's success so that they're ready to join us. So the funny thing is that when I showed CG this picture, she's like, "That's what you posted for your sister becoming a millionaire?" And the reason why I posted this was I had sent her pictures of this back and forth, and it was just something between us. So when I posted this, it was about her. It wasn't about, you know, this millionaire making all of this money. It was simply about celebrating my sister and making it funny, because anybody who knows my sister she's not that serious. And then you can see Lara holding up her big check, another success that we're celebrating.
So one of the reasons I love presenting with Alexis, and there are so many, is because we really are so different. Our words, our backgrounds, everything about us is so different, but the system we follow is the same. We express ourselves differently, but again, we've both found a way to brand who we are using a really simple system. I could never be Alexis. Alexis could never be me. Your brand, very simply, is who you are, it's what you represent, it's everything you write, everything you post, everything you share is all a reflection of your brand. So, Alexis is a gym owner, and she's a certified health coach, and she has quite a few accolades, which are all amazing. And I'm none of those things, but I still manage to brand myself. I always say I'm a young person living an unconventional, extraordinary life, but I'm still learning and growing and sharing so much of myself so people can follow my journey and they can relate to me. And I don't do anything sugar-coated. Everything is raw and real and letting people see into exactly who I am.
And one of the things that I always say to people is that you don't have to be a health coach or a gym owner to be able to build this business or to brand yourself. You want to be authentic to who you are, and your brand is developed along the way. It's not like you left your job and then all of a sudden you're this new person and everybody knows exactly what you're doing and who you are. So it's important to have a transition and not expect it to happen overnight. So this picture was a bunch of the health coaches on my team. We all went to see Dr. Oz. And this was a picture that brands who I am, in addition to being a gym owner. And CG, being the young rock star that she is, with some of the young people on our team. So you can see how different we are. And it's not about you have to be a young rock star or you have to be a health coach. Again, it's about finding your own voice. So when I give a health tip every week, I give 2 health tips every week. I try not to make them serious because nobody wants to say, eat 10 carrots today and, that's not really exciting. So anything that I could find or come up with, I want to put some kind of humor into it so that people are drawn to the post and they're not bored by the post because nobody wants to read a bunch of health tips just, eating your vegetables. It's just not something that's exciting. Okay, so a question that we always get asked is, what do you do when someone comments on your post? What do you do if someone wants more information? What we don't want to do is have a long debate or thread on your post. You simply want to inbox the person who comments on your post and ask them for their phone number. There's no conversation back and forth because the minute you entertain a question, you're going to get another question, and we all know the final question: how much does this cost? So people say, well, how do you get their phone number? You simply ask for it, right? You just say, I'm so excited to share this information with you. What's the best number to reach you on? Can you talk right now? They're online, so you might even be able to talk to them right now. If not, you want to set an appointment. You don't want to just send information through an email or inbox because it's not going to give them the information that they could use. Maybe they want information about the business. Maybe they want information about just being healthy and it's not about weight loss. You have no idea what their goals are, so there's no solution to present to them unless you get them on the phone. I know we all do this business, text messaging and Facebook and social media, not even email anymore, but there's no replacement for picking up the phone and having a conversation. Would you agree? So again, Facebook isn't about being passive, it's about being active. So people say, how long are you on Facebook for on a daily basis? I'm on Facebook all day long, but I'm proactive on Facebook. My Facebook is open all day long, but I'm not, as Eric just said, a scroller. If I am scrolling, it's because I'm looking for people that are looking for what we have. So you have to remember to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. We know this isn't about just some shakes and some cleanse. It's more than that. It's about creating a culture and a community. So I love this picture, and I love Carol Taylor. Carol, where are you? And Peter, of course. 2 years ago, Carol invited me and my team out to dinner. There's my team. It was CG and I. And last year, we had about 200 teammates here. And today, we have over 450. So I ask everybody that's sitting here today, what will celebration look like for you? Where would thousands of people be if we gave up when we didn't feel like it was working, when it wasn't going fast enough? How many lives would we not have affected if we just gave up? Look around the room. I remember when it was Top Achievers, when I first started, and I was invited by Dennis and Carol Katopoulos. And as a teacher, you know, this is not a good week, right? Because we just came back from winter break. But I was going. I was invited, and I was going. And I actually didn't care if I got fired at that point. And I thought, all right, well, I'm not allowed to take sick days right after a vacation, so I'm going to have to call out when I'm there. I stayed in a room with Dennis and Carol, who I didn't really know that well. And I called out in the bathroom in the hotel, and I had to get up a couple hours earlier. And I remember saying, these events just change your entire business. My first event changed my entire business. Every event changes your belief. No matter how long you've been in the business, each event builds to another event. So again, I say, look around the room. If all of us gave up when we were frustrated, where would we be right now? And I always quote Jimmy Smith, who I remember when I first started, whispered in my ear, the only way to fail in this business is to quit. So I thank you.
So, what about the backlash you may receive? What about the people who they don't understand your mission and they don't see your vision? These people exist. They may already exist. They may have already given you a complex about what you're posting on social media. Let's be real. Everybody has them. Peter Kelly talked about it at Celebration. I've heard Susan Sly on training calls talk about having them. I had them, and quite honestly, I still do. And when it first happened, I was broken. I didn't understand why people who I considered friends, people I went to high school with, could be so nasty about something they knew so little about. So I did what any 20-something-year-old would do. I called my best friend Tara Romano, and I cried. And then I called her sister, and I cried again. And when Alexis was done listening to me, I probably called Tara again, and I cried. I was just really hurt. But Tara and Alexis and the people who really cared about me said 4 simple words that truly transformed my business. It's not about you. In my mind, it was always about me until I was really able to grasp that concept. I couldn't talk to fitness instructors because I wasn't one. And I couldn't talk about the business opportunity because I didn't think I was making enough money. And then when it came to dealing with these people who were more passionate about bringing me down than lifting themselves up, that's when I really started to get it. This had nothing to do with me. It was about them. Someone else's words, someone else's issues, someone else's head junk was about them. I know I'm making a difference every day by what I do. I can look out into this room and think of people on my team like Jeff and Michelle Jackson, who, bless them, own the bar that Tara Romano and I worked out for a very long time. And after Hurricane Sandy, their family was financially struggling, and they have 3 children. And because I opened my mouth and spoke up, they're sitting in this room today, and they're walking across the stage tomorrow as 6-figure income earners. And I can look at my high school friend, Lara Leopoldi, who is the most passionate person I've ever met when it comes to holistic nutrition. And she was working a job in finance in New York City that I still don't understand what she did, commuting 3 hours a day, and she was miserable. And because I opened my mouth, She's earning a multiple six-figure income, working from home, and fulfilling her dream of planting gardens in schools to teach children about organic nutrition. And I can look at my sister, who, let's be honest, family doesn't always come around very quickly. At least that was the case for me. Can anyone agree? If I wasn't relentless and persistent, my sister might not be sitting in this room right now. She might not have been able to leave her job. She wouldn't be earning a multiple six-figure income, and she wouldn't be staying home with her 18-month-old daughter. I know, you can clap her. I know I'm having an impact on people's lives. And my question to you is, whose life is better because someone wanted to write something not so nice about me on Facebook? That's when I really started to get it. It is not about me, and it is not about you either. So I want you to take it to Facebook, post your passion, use your voice, speak your truth, hashtag NYKO 2015. Thank you.